Introducing person, fighting out of the blue corner. He enters the cage with a mixed martial arts record of 1 victory, 2 defeats. Representing Next Generation, Danny Dutch. And his opponent standing across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. He is an independent fighter making his in-cage debut, Steve Nicholls. Our referee in charge of the action, Mr. Mick Clements.
Mick Clements in charge of the action, the unenviable position of putting himself between these two absolute beasts. Light heavyweight action, Danny Dutch in the tight black shorts, Steve Nicholls in the black with white trim. Danny Dutch fighting out of the Next Generation team. A big experience edge, 3 amateur fights already on his record. It's the in-cage debut of Nicholls. Big leg kick though, and a huge height advantage for Steve Nicholls as well. Had to duck under our big screen here, walking down the ramp.
It's going to look like this fight is all going to be about who can get the range they want. Steve, it's got a few more inches on Danny. This is going to be interesting.
Nice straight right hand down the pipe from Nicholls. It may be his amateur MMA debut, but he looks disciplined with the shots that he's throwing. He is an independent fighter, not making his name, making his home at any one particular camp. Dutch, of course, fighting out of the vaunted Next Generation camp. Lots of good training partners. Nice side kick there from Nicholls. Inches away from connecting to Dutch. Dutch looking patient. I spoke to Danny yesterday at the weigh-ins. He formerly fought at heavyweight. Made the decision along with his coach to drop down to light heavyweight for this contest. He said he feels a lot sharper, a lot faster. Feels like he can afford to be a lot more patient. He's not working on getting the fight done in the first 2 minutes. Great head movement, bobbing and weaving there. We're trying to get inside on Nicholls.
Danny Dutch throwing with bad intention, and again, I think he's confident that he's going to bring that heavyweight power down a little bit with him because he looks great at the weight class.
He said he feels so much faster and sharper than he previously did. He feels fitter. He said he lost his last fight purely for stamina reasons.
I'm impressed with Nicholls' patience though, and his timing. He's not been tagged much yet, and he's keeping that distance. Although I say that and looking at his lead leg, some of those leg kicks that Danny's been landing are marking up the thigh.
Nice right hand again there from Nicholls. He's had a bit of success with that shot already in this fight. Doesn't seem to be throwing with the same power as Danny Dutch, but when you look at the build of these two guys, that should be pretty obvious as to why.
And Nicholls is finishing combinations. He's not throwing one shots. He's coming in with the jab and then a hook. He's throwing 2s and 3s all the time.
You know, you look at fights like this on paper and you think 2 novice light heavyweights, 2 big guys, it's going to be one and done, but really impressed with the patience both these guys are showing here. Dutch with another kick to that lead leg. I'd really like to see him go back down to that leg a little bit more, but the combinations from Nicholls here starting to get through the guard of Danny Dutch. But
and again, if you look at just behind the knee of Dutch where Nicholls has been landing, both these guys are marking the legs up.
And it's going to be interesting to see if that becomes a factor later in the fight. You got to think someone with the patience and movement of Steve Nicholls, if he can slow the pace down on Danny Dutch, he's going to be able to pick his shots a little bit better and really make the accuracy come to bear. Dutch obviously looking to land one of those looping hooks, looking to put Nicholls out here with one big shot.
You know, if you were in the corner now, what would you be saying to Danny? I think he has to be a little more busy. He's got to start. He's got to be a little more aggressive and engaged. What do you think they're saying to him?
I completely agree with that, Steve. I think he's maybe got it into his head that he is, a lot fitter than he used to be. He's maybe trying to drag this one out and take the less experienced man into deep water. But for me, if Danny can put his foot on the gas and land some of those big shots, he's going to topple the giant.
I think he's got to make Nicholls respect that power a little bit. Nicholls obviously does because he's in and out. Dyer's got to make sure he can get his distance in this round.
If he can close that range and get inside, he's going to be very effective with those short hooks, short uppercuts. He's got the perfect build for being an infighter.
Gonna apologize there. I think I just called Danny Dutch Danny Dyer, so my apologies, Dutch.
Wow. I'll be sure to tell him that you said that, Steve.
No, please not when I'm in the room.
Proper naughty.
Again, Dutch keeps his hands a little low too. You know, is it just because he's looking for that power shot?
More leg kicks. And we're seeing Dutch perhaps look to charge in a little bit now. Big power on that kick. Didn't land cleanly though.
A little bit telegraphed, I think.
Oh, another big leg kick. A big slap when that leg kick landed. It's the meaty ones.
Oh,
we've
and
just
another
seen
one.
3 of those from Danny Dutch. Dutch needs to keep his hands up when he's swinging though. That counter right hand is there all day for Steve Nicholls.
Hands up and chin down. That was a wild swing, but it was almost like he was angry.
And when he's throwing those big leg kicks, you leave yourself open for the straight right hand counter right down the pipe. And he's not got the guard up, and that could be a very precarious situation that Danny Dutch finds himself in. But Nicholls now slowing the pace down a little bit. Huge swelling on the side of that thigh.
You know, you got to be honest. When you come to an MMA event, it doesn't matter where, and you see an independent name, you have to question. This guy's come in. Good Lord, this guy's fighting like he has a team behind him.
There's often a stigma associated with independent fighters. You know, they're the guys who, you know, maybe turn up and take a kicking. But, you know, what we're starting to see, I think, you know, people really appreciating that, not tying themselves to one gym, getting the best of everything. I do believe that Steve has a bit of a traditional martial arts background. He's doing it the old Bruce Lee way, taking a little bit of everything and seeing what works and keeping the best stuff.
Nice working today again. Beautiful clinch work, working the legs, and then straight up to the head on when they disengage. I gotta say, I'm impressed with Steve Nicholls at the moment.
Certainly putting the pace on Danny Dutch here, but the lead leg of Steve Nicholls is just swollen beyond belief. The hands a little bit low for both men now. Nicholls calling Dutch on.
I think fatigue is going to be an issue. It's certainly not in this round at the beginning of the third. Another huge... Oh, he's chopping him down.
Got to be careful of the up kicks here. Trying to swing past that guard. Kicking out of the leg. A lot of damage there on the leg of Nicholls.
And you would think that's going to have a target on it now whenever the fight's back on its feet.
And as much weight as Danny Dutch has lost, a guy with a build like that, a light heavyweight, fatigue is always going to be a factor. As we head into the third round, it's going to be very interesting to see what Danny Dutch has got left in the tank. He thinks he can do it. He thinks he's fit, and we're going to put that to the test here in the third round at FCC 12. Steve Nicholls, though, looking very confident, calling Dutch on at the end of that round.
Both of them have been working the lead legs. Both of them have massive welts towards the back and on the thigh. I certainly think one of them can chop the other down in this round.
Certainly giving the fans here at the Macron Stadium the money's worth of these two light heavyweights. Some fantastic action on the card here, professional and amateur. Some of the best in UK MMA. And from as far afield as Europe too.
That's always been one of FCC's calling cards, so a strong UK card in those internationals when needed. And, you know, how many great UK MMA guys have appeared in this cage and continue to do so.
Two men looking to follow in their footsteps, Danny Dutch and Steve Nicholls. Early on in their mixed martial arts journeys, can one of them make a name for themselves on Full Contact Contender 12 tonight? Third and final round between these two light heavyweights. Brad Wharton and Steve Cook-Abbott calling the action here in Bolton. Another big leg kick.
I'm just not sure how much more that lead leg can take, and it doesn't look like very much at all. He needs to consider changing up the stance or closing that distance and protecting that leg a little bit.
And that's where the inexperience perhaps comes in, Steve. I think many men would have switched the stance, like you say, gone southpaw. Nicholls, though, still looking confident, still moving forward, still trying to measure Danny Dutch. Dutch looking for a big overhand right there. It might be best advised to just stick with those leg kicks. Keep the left hand high and tight. Throw the right leg kick. Nicholls, though, trying to unload with the combinations here. Trying to punch through the guard. Nice uppercut. Got to mix those punches up. Go around and underneath the guard of Danny Dutch. Dutch conserving his energy. Nice bob and weave. Big hooks from Danny Dutch there, but he was leading with his chin. Big knee to the head there from Dutch, trying to pull Nicholls' head down. Nicholls pinning his man up against the fence.
That's smart. Again, smart by Nicholls. Control. Look for, and again, if he can start throwing knees again to that thigh. Both these guys been happy to keep the fight standing, and neither looking to take it to the mat.
And they both came here today to try and take their opponent's head off. Both men have the power and ability to do it, but it's Nicholls taking control of the third round here. It's going to be very interesting.
Boys, heads down. Nope. Sorry, I thought he was looking for the guillotine there, but didn't have it.
Definitely looking for it. Danny Dutch with the chin wide open. Nicholls throwing the fast punches, some fast hands still in the third round. Dutch with that clubbing overhand right, Chuck Liddell style. And Nicholls now with kicks. A beautiful uppercut. Got Dutch on his bicycle here in the third round.
Still backing into the cage. I think the fatigue is playing a part now, and this could be Nicholls' time.
Well, who's won the first two rounds? It's going to be very interesting to see how our judges have this one scored. Oh.
Both guys drawing deep breaths now. It's going to be bite down on the gun shield and see if we can't get a finish. Oh, beautiful!
Right hand. Took the legs out from underneath. Nicholls. Danny Dutch pouncing.
Oh, and another big right. 2, 3, 4, 5. We're getting to the point. The referee is...
Surely he's finished here. The referee taking a big look.
The referee has stopped.
I don't know if the referee stopped the fight or we reached the end of the round. Steve Nicholls took a series of huge jackhammer-like punches at the end of that frame, looking still unsteady on his feet. And I'm not sure if the referee called it
or the klaxon went. Wow, what a finish by Dutch, though. You know, he took the opportunity and he didn't stop until the referee pulled him off.
Absolutely not at fault at all with Danny Dutch. He carry on fighting until the referee says stop. It appears that the referee called it as the buzzer went, so I'm going to be very interested, Steve, to see exactly what the official result is. Is that going to be a KO stoppage? Are we going to go to the judges' scorecards?
And if we go to the scorecards, very interesting now, Brad. I got to tell you, I'm glad I wasn't judging this one.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, Steve, we're not officials, and these guys are, and there's good reason for that. I kind of thought that was a stoppage there towards the end of the fight, but
I would have thought so.
The buzzer did go. I've been very interested to see what the official result is. I believe our judges are tallying their scorecards. I don't know if they're just doing that for their own purposes, though. Our MC, Jonathan Millard, is going to make this one official.
Wow.